Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Before I mention to talk to Emily, just to tell everybody, people who's listening on the radio, that the news will follow shortly. There's a football match they played at the moment, so the news will come after that. Also, guys, there's a weather warning for the southwest of England about the heat. Please be careful because it's really getting hot and everything. So, thank you very much. Okay, Emily, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Steve?
Oh, brilliant, brilliant.
Good.
You're looking really, really nice today.
Oh, thanks.
You've got your hair pulled back and everything, and
Yeah,
really
this
nice.
is this is what I do when I don't have much time.
Right, okay, that's what most women do, and my wife does
Yeah.
that. Yeah, they usually just bug up in the air, and that's it. And okay. So, um, we were talking. Well, you emailed me, and we were kind of like talking on email. And you wanted to do these different topics, and the first one is about breathing.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so every one of us has got to breathe anyway. If we don't breathe, we die, won't we?
Pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us in your words about breathing and how we can
Yeah.
relax. How can we get do our breathing? Is it breathing exercises or what do you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, we all breathe. Very often we don't breathe adequately for what our body needs. I and I'm not going to talk about much about that. What I really want to talk about is what some call conscious breathing. And I'm going to give you a little background first. So, some of you know, but some of you don't, that 5 years ago, I worked myself into complete exhaustion. And actually, I was thinking about it a little bit today as I was thinking about sharing with you about breathing. And it really was in every way. So, physically, mentally, my brain wasn't really working. Emotionally, I was exhausted and like just overwrought. And I actually had been a fitness instructor for about 20 years, and my body was just starting to break down, and I was in a lot of pain, and my hips seized up. So there was a lot of things going on, and this was about 5 years ago. And I really wasn't able to get out of bed for about 6 months. And there was this whole process that I went through in that 6 months of just like I was really scared at first because my brain wasn't really working. I actually did some psychological tests and I couldn't do the memory portion at all. My brain just wasn't retaining any information. Um, so I really just, my body, everything just gave out. And so in this 6 month period, like I said, I ran the gamut of like being really scared and then maybe like in denial, and then I'm thinking I'm always going to feel this way, like this is how I'm going to feel for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be able to get out of bed, and like really scared and all these different things. And then sort of at the tail end of that, I decided to excuse me, dedicate that next year, which was 2017, to figuring out what happened, and how to feel better, how to heal and get better, and then how to make sure that that didn't happen again, because I didn't want to have to live through that again. Um, and the really interesting thing that happened in this space was accidental. So I accidentally found out about present moment and what I call the moment or being in the now. There's a lot of different things that people call it. I call it present moment or moment. And because I was so still and really couldn't do much, I found myself sitting. And actually what happened was I was just kind of following my dog around. Like if he wanted to go outside, I would go outside and I would like sit in the grass with him. And I accidentally found this present moment. And I was really still in that space. And then what happened after I did that for a little while, maybe a few weeks, I started to feel like I wanted to take these deep breaths. And so I just started to just take these really like, just like these really, like when you take a deep breath and it's almost like a sigh and you feel relief. So I was like wanting to take these deep breaths. And I had been under such pressure and I'd been putting myself under such pressure, and I was so overwhelmed and had so much anxiety and OCD and all these different things that literally what happened was my body shut down. And so what I was finding in this space was like a space of peace. And then also with the breathing. And so I really started to, what I had said a little bit earlier, was consciously breathe. So rather than just involuntarily breathing, which we must do to stay alive, I was taking these deeper breaths and I was doing it on purpose. So I was consciously aware that I was doing my breathing. And like I said, I started to just do this naturally, and I started to feel relief from it. And I became more and more curious about it. And so then as time went on, for the next 4 or 5 years, now here we are, I've been studying about breathing and sharing it with other people, and just all these amazing things are coming out of it. Excuse me. And what I realized was there are major benefits to consciously breathing. So like I said, different from just breathing in the background involuntarily, is making a decision that you're going to take these deep breaths. Wow. And a few of them are that you can feel more calm. That actually gives you better focus and clarity. So you can think more clearly, you can problem solve, these types of things. And it actually makes you less reactive. So where I was at in my life was I was very reactive to situations. So something would happen and I would react like automatically without even any thought. I would just react. So the conscious breathing also allows you to be less reactive. It also, all of those things kind of are under the umbrella of when you consciously breathe, it deactivates your fight or flight mechanism. Right. Which for me was, and a psychologist told me as much, that I was functioning in fight or flight all the time. And your body just can't sustain that level of stress. But it has to produce adrenaline all the time. It has to produce high levels of cortisol, all these different things, because you're telling your body that it needs to protect itself. So it needs to be in this heightened state. So when you consciously breathe, it tells your body to relax and that it doesn't need to be in fight or flight. When you consciously breathe, you're actually telling your body that you're safe and that you're okay. And what's so interesting is I didn't know that at first, but when I was first becoming acquainted with breathing in this really organic way, I would actually tell myself either out loud or in my head, I would say, you are safe. I would breathe and I would say, you are safe. And what I found out later was that's actually what my breath was telling my body. It was telling me, you are safe. You don't need to be in fight or flight. And then the conscious breathing shifts into the rest and digest. So it starts working in a different way. So rather than what's called the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight, it shifts into the parasympathetic, which is the involuntary digestion and those type of hormones. And you're telling your body you can rest, you're okay, you're safe. So the whole thing is very interesting for me because one of my biggest things about introducing people to the present moment is I truly believe that's where you can be still and quiet enough that you can hear your intuition. And my intuition was telling me to take these deep breaths and tell myself that I was safe, not knowing intellectually why that was beneficial to me. So it was a very interesting process. And so then out of that, this just a few months ago, I created what I call the Be the Moment process. And it's the 7 layers that I came to know as ways that I could access this space, this safe space, this space of intuition, and this space of, like I said, calm and clarity and that type of thing. And for me, the first level, like the entry point to this present moment space is breathing. And so I call the first layer Be the Breath. And so my Be the Moment process has 7 layers, and I thought it would be really fun for all of us to explore each of the 7 layers in the coming weeks. So today we decided to do the Be Your Breath layer, and so that's my little introduction to the Be Your Breath layer. And in a little bit we'll also do it together. But Steve, I didn't know if you had any questions or any thoughts that you wanted to ask me before we start. Before we do that,
what technique is, what breathing technique is best?
well, it depends on what you're looking for and what you're needing. For me personally, I needed to actually move from fight or flight, like I said, into the rest or digest. I had to move from being super reactive to being less reactive. I needed to move from like a really state of heightened sensitivity into like a calmer state. And so there's specific breathing practices that you can do. And like I said, I just came upon them naturally. And now I've kind of gathered up a few that I really, really like. And I'll share a couple of them with you today. And
Right,
the other
okay.
thing that's really interesting is that there are breathing practices to also like energize you and get you like awake and excited. Um, and those are super helpful too. But what I found for me, it's mostly helpful to calm things down, because what I want to do is connect to present moment, and that's where I do that. So there are unlimited kinds of breathing techniques. There are so many. So that's why it's hard for me to answer that question. But I have a couple that I want to do
Right, okay.
with you guys today.
Let's do then.
Okay,
Let's go
cool.
for it.
Cool. Yeah. And then at the end, I'll share a little bit more about how we can go into more of the different practices, because I'm going to be creating a course where we really go into each of the layers more and explore it in depth. And then we can really explore all the layers.
Right, okay.
So, yay, I'm excited. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to have you do is, if you're able to, I'm going to have you close your eyes. And all you're going to do is sit there and breathe in your natural breathing pattern. You're not going to change anything. And you can also do this if your eyes aren't closed, so it's fine. And I just have a question for you. Right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that you are in complete and extreme bliss, like you feel better than you ever have in your whole life, and 10 being you are almost like hysterical, close to hyperventilating, so like very extreme stress. So 1 is feeling your well-being is very good, or calm, I should say, because I try not to make judgments. All we're doing right now is observing. And then 10 is you're extremely stressed. I want you just to take a moment to decide where you are on that scale of well-being. 1 is blissed out, 10 is stressed out. And you're just going to see if you can decide where you are right now. And there's no judgment about it at all. All you're doing is gathering information. All you're doing is gathering information, and it really doesn't help you if you're not honest with yourself about where you are on the scale. So all you're doing is saying, okay, this is how I feel objectively, and I'm going to pick a number.
Right, so do you want me to tell you the number?
Yeah, you can if you want.
Yeah, 1.
1. Oh, you're feeling good.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Okay, cool. Yeah, so for me, I'm pretty excited and agitated today because my mother-in-law is coming and I had a super busy day and I'm doing all this stuff. So I'm kind of like, woo. So I would say I'm probably about a 6 or a 5 right in there. So I'm pretty excitable right now. And you're just going to file that number away for now. And then we're going to connect to our natural breathing rhythm once again. So you're not changing your breathing pattern. It's how your body is naturally breathing right now. And you're just giving yourself space to do that. But you will notice that while your body is breathing in an involuntary way, I want you to start to shift your awareness to your body breathing in its natural pattern. So you're not changing anything, you're just shifting your awareness. So just that subtle shift can create a feeling of more calm, because now you're focused on your breath rather than on other things. And if you are still thinking about other things in your life and all the things we can think about, that's okay too. But just see if you can focus on the breath, your natural breathing rhythm. And now all you're going to do is take a deep breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, or you can inhale through the nose and exhale out the nose. You can experiment with it. And you're taking deeper breaths now, a little bit deeper inhalation. And you may notice that you now can hear the breath where you couldn't before. And you also may notice that your lungs are filling more, that you're taking in more air. So just notice what that feels like. And if that feels good, take a few more deep breaths. And I'm going to ask you to continue to take deep breaths. If that feels good, I really, really want you to, what I call, honor yourself in this space. So if you're feeling like, oh, I really liked just sitting and breathing naturally, you do that. Because your body is telling you that that's what it wants to do right now. If you're liking the deep breathing, you can do that. And here's a really interesting exercise. So what you can do is take your hands and put them on your side rib cage. So you want to be able to kind of feel the ribs. It's like above your hips. It's kind of like on the side of your ribs. And as you inhale, you're going to see if you can expand your ribs out to the side. So press your ribs into your hands just a little bit. So you want to see if you can feel your ribs spreading a little bit out to the sides as you're inhaling deeply. And there's another way you can do this too. This is what I call 3-dimensional breathing. So we are not just breathing shallowly into our upper lungs into our upper chest. We're trying to fill all the way down to the bottom of our rib cage here in the sides. And the other way that you can do that is see if you, when you inhale, you can feel your ribs spreading a little bit and expanding. And as you continue to do that, see if you can feel the ribs on the back of your body expanding a little bit. It's just very tiny, but you might actually feel a spreading between your ribs. And this is 3-dimensional breathing. So we're filling up our lungs like a balloon in front, side, and back. So I like my hands on my ribs because I can actually feel it, but you don't have to do that. You can actually feel your ribs expanding. And sometimes I find that I'm breathing kind of like in the front of my ribs, and sometimes I'm in the back of my ribs, and sometimes I'm in the side. See if you can kind of spread them all, really like you're filling a balloon, because you know a balloon fills equally in all directions. So if that helps, imagine that. And then see if you can lengthen the breath more. So a longer inhalation, inhaling more air, expanding just a little bit more, and then exhaling slowly all the way out. And if you had your hands on your rib cage and you really like that, you can keep doing that. Hands on the ribs, or you can just rest your hands in your lap and just continue the deep breathing if that feels good to you. And now what we're going to do is we're going to continue that deep breathing, but we're going to inhale for 4 counts. I'll tell you what you're going to do. Then you're going to pause, and then you're going to exhale. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause and sit a little taller. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you exhale, see if you can sit taller. 1, 2, 3, 4, and pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, spread your ribs in every direction. Pause, see if you can sit a little taller. Exhale, sit a little taller. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try that a couple more times. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Sit taller. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that again. Inhale. Pause and sit taller. Exhale, sit taller. Pause. Do that a couple more times. One more time if that feels good. Feeling like you're lifting up through the crown of your head, like your spine is lengthening. Now allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. This whole time, we've been consciously aware of our breath, which has all those benefits that I talked about. You can keep your eyes closed for just a little longer if that feels good, because I'm going to ask you one more question. So it calms us. It allows us to have more focus. It allows us to be less reactive. It moves us from fight or flight into rest or digest. Basically, you're telling your body that you are safe right now and that you are okay. So remember at the beginning, we did on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being completely blissed out, 10 being totally stressed out. You decided where you were on that scale without judgment. So same thing I want you to do is to decide right now on the scale where you are. Once again, without judgment, we are just gathering information.
6.
Awesome. So if you closed your eyes, you can open them again. And the amazing thing about breath work is that it has all those benefits, and you can do it really at any time. No matter where you are, you can take a deep breath. And honestly, if you think about it, you probably do. You probably like, whoo, like, oh. And so people do that. They just don't realize the benefit of it. And it's free and it's magic, and I'm super passionate about it. And as I'm studying more about it, my mind is just blown by how it changed my life, just the breathing.
Yeah. So, what can you say to people if they want to do these exercises that we just done? Because I felt really relaxed, and I felt to me, I was like falling asleep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My wife just said, you were falling asleep. I was, yeah. I was in a state, and I was there. And I thought, well, you know, and that's because I was in a state of calm. I was all right. I was breathing all right, and mm, yeah. So it just. So, what do you say to people who's listening now about kind of like doing these breathing techniques, and do you do any kind of like workshops where they can come along, on here, of course, not over we this because it's a long way. But
Right.
do you do anything like that or?
Oh, yeah. So right now, what I have available is my Be the Moment process. It's on my website, and I actually, it's a guided practice. It's about 45 minutes, and I lead you through the 7 layers, and we do about 3 to 5 minutes on each layer. So we do breath, and then the next layer that we'll talk about next week is be the body. So that's another layer, and I lead you through a 45-minute practice. And the thing that I love about my Be the Moment practice is you don't have to do anything. You just need to be there, and I lead you through it. And so that is what's available right now. And then what I'm going to do is turn it into a course, which is what I mentioned to you, Steve, is taking each of the layers and really exploring them fully for about 30 minutes. So we'll do breath work for a whole 30 minutes, and we will do different techniques, and
Right.
we will
Okay.
do different processes. And then same thing with Be the Body. So what I'm going to do is everyone that signs up for the Be the Moment process, which is my 45-minute, all the layers, all 7 layers, then they will get a special invitation when the Be the Moment course launches, which is going to be like almost like a beginner. The Be the Moment process is a beginner course, an introduction. And then the Be the Moment course, we're going to get a little more in depth and explore it and kind of move beyond beginner a little bit and start to really explore each of the layers. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm hoping that it resonates with people, and that I've done it in such a way that it's helpful for them.
Right. Okay then. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. And we will look forward to seeing you next week with
Yeah.
more breathing techniques. And it's made. I tell you what, it's made me a bit tired actually. I'm falling.
Yeah.
I'm yawning a little bit. Excuse me.
It's good for stress release for sure.
Oh yes, definitely. Yes, I'm yawning there. But there you go. Anyway, thank you very much. Don't forget, everybody, look for Emily's website and please check out that. Also, don't forget to kind of come back next week with more. She'll be bringing some more stuff as well.
Yep.
And more information is on our website and everything, or Facebook. Please contact Emily. Also on our website, we're putting new content on very soon again. So there'll be some more there. So in the meantime, guys, I'm going to go off for a little while, and I'll be back around about 11 o'clock with Nino, and and apparently we've got a packed house for that. So,
Nice.
well done, everybody. Thanks for that, and see you later, Emily. Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye. Enjoy your time with your mother-in-law.
Oh, thanks. I'll report back next week. I'll let you know how it goes.
I'll be stressed out, me.
I probably will have to do some breathing stuff.
Bye bye.